I assume that this is going to be pretty much the last chapter before they actually get into the stuff with Spring. There could be a little bit beforehand, maybe like the characters kind of just getting all their stuff prepped. Maybe we could see some of the other characters just having some moments talking and getting any like umas or artifacts and stuff set up to go into this, because this is going to be a large scale battle. This is going to be a war, pretty much, because Under is bringing every single person that they have in order to defend their hold on Izumo and keeping Unluck, as well as the main cast and over in the, the whole Union is bringing their group like entirely over there. And they mentioned that the Under group like has like more fighting capability, more fighting experience. I really would need to see some of the other characters to really believe that. Like Tatiana alone has like a power better than, at least from these guys, better than all of them. The one dude's power that he can like make copies of weapons to the point where he apparently can drop nukes. Like he has potential, because his is more on like the level of weaponry he can get on. Like say he had something like that, like nukes, but he also had like one of those satellites that drops like what it was, a tungsten rod or whatever. And probably seen it in some movies and stuff from space, and then just the level of terminal velocity it picks up when it hits, it's like the same level of power as a nuke, but it doesn't have the whole nuclear fallout. Like something like that, that's completely different, because like I said, that like comes out entirely onto what he can get his hands on. His is more on like utility of tools rather than like the OP-ness of its power. But like looking at all of them before I even get into like the actual like discussions the characters are having and stuff, like looking at them, like you have Tella, we don't really know the full extent of him. His power seems pretty interesting, so like he's one of those ones where I could see like maybe being really dangerous. Rips, like, he's weird because he has a good power, but his is, like, super augmented from his different artifacts. Like, he's definitely a threat to look out for. Latla and the bunny dude, they're definitely, like, they have good powers. Well, I mean, the bunny dude's power is odd, but, like, Latla, like, both of them, really, when you look at them, they aren't, like, fighters. You have the one girl that, like, can, like, kind of, like, affection control people. You have that dude that, probably the coolest looking out of, perfectly honest, the guy with the hat. He's got like this freaking Jotaro look with the visor that goes into his hair. Looks pretty badass. That guy's probably going to be one of like the more big fighters. The one girl, I thought that was going to be a dude, but I guess it's an old woman. Yusai is her name. She's definitely going to be a fighter, just from how they described her in this chapter. How they just kind of like talked around her. Like, she definitely seems like she's going to be a big deal. And having a previous association with Andy really kind of plays that up. But like looking at the main cast, Juiza's power is super dangerous, like just in general. Like Unjustice is super tricky. You've got, like I said, Tatiana. You've got Shen. Like Shen is complete. Like I know he's not the holder of Untruth anymore, but like his fighting capability by itself. You got like Phil and Top. Everybody on their side is still really dangerous. And there has to be like way more from the underside than obviously what's shown if they're going to be designated as like better fighters, because I know Billy is really OP, but like say like right now, looking at the whole Under group, even though I don't think that Andy would just pull Victor out and bring Victor out to fight him, like say if he did, Victor would just like nothing that they've shown so far tells me that Victor wouldn't just wash right through him. He would just completely just dominate the hell out of him. And it is an option, because all he really has to do is take the card out of his head in order to get Victor out on the scene. But like that's just off of right now. Like I said, they can easily get way more impressive just off of a couple of these dudes that haven't done anything. Like Tella, like I said, is really mysterious. Billy is odd because he has like multiple powers that he's stealing. And then like the two dudes in the back, like, oh well, one female, like the Yusai girl and the one dude with the visor on his head, like those two are definite like threatening people. Like Yusai definitely more so, definitely got a little bit of hype in this chapter, but I didn't see anything that would really tell me that they would be able to really contend with Victor. And Tatiana, like I said, I feel like she could literally just, if she wanted to, pop right out of that pod and completely, like, just press that entire other faction. With the only people maybe surviving are, like, Billy. Like, Billy, maybe that Yusai woman, we don't know exactly. Like, the thing is, apparently she's a powerful swordsman or something. But, well, swordswoman, but also we have absolutely no idea what her power is going to be, and I would assume with her sword ability, it's going to be something that makes it way more dangerous. But there's some good moments in the chapter. I'm like 5 minutes in. I wanted to talk more about that rather than like some of the chapter, because a good chunk of the chapter was Izumo conveying information, like saying like, okay, this is when the day's going to be, December, I think it's December 24th. It tells them what, like, how many people are going to be there. There's some people that they don't know what their powers are, but you know, they brought up the one girl's power to restrain people. It mentions that like this whole spring Uma can turn people into cherry blossom trees. Just kind of like giving them the rundown. Like most of it was just that rundown. Like a lot of the meat was in the second half of the chapter. There was a part when he was like saying though that, oh yeah, if you see that Yusai lady, just tell her, just try to name drop me. She'll probably help you just from that. And he's like, oh, you used to be like an old friend of yours? And it's like, that's an understatement. She was kind of like a girlfriend. And the thing is, like, we know, obviously, especially now, how Izumo feels about Andy. And Tatiana and I don't remember the other girl's name, but she's like one of the assistants to, again, I don't know that dude's name either. He's in the main cast, but he's like the scientist. That's one of the things that bothers me about like some of the characters we haven't really seen much of. It's like there hasn't been any reason for me to really pay attention to him. So it's like when I look at like that dude, even though he's been around since pretty much the start, we've had almost nothing with him. So like he hasn't done anything that makes him kind of like stick into my brain. Where it's like Tatiana, I got like very early on, obviously her having a very early arc in the series, similar to Shen, and then just getting more displays and make them more memorable. But like they're just beating up on Andy because like they're fully aware, obviously, that Izumo like has like deep love affections of Andy, and that it's gonna bother her to just think about like, oh yeah, this guy, this old lady used to be a former girlfriend of Andy. But like I'm just thinking like, yeah, but she's like an old lady now. Do you think like it's really gonna bother him or bother her? Like Izumo, like I feel like logically would meet her and be like, oh yeah, she's like what, like 50 or 60 now. She definitely looks wrinkly. I mean, I know she's an old woman, so I don't really see the same level of threatening position for her from a romance situation. I did like notice though that Tella is like on Izumo's waist down, which actually has me really curious because like I wonder if like if they didn't come up and grab her, she would have just kind of like dead bodied onto the whale. But Tella is like using his power to seemingly levitate her. I'm guessing it, you know, it's got something to do with whatever the base power of his ability is. And there's some general just confrontation between Billy and Andy. And there's like a part where he's like, oh, you know, you guys aren't as good of fighters as you're amateurs. If you get in the way, all your lives are over. And Andy's like, all right, bring it. And I thought that was a really cool panel. It was super simplistic, but it's not, it was done in a way you could understand Andy and obviously like what he's going there to do. But I really like that it was done in a way more serious way. He doesn't have his hair up. He doesn't have some big badass kind of like smirk or smile. He just looks pissed. He looks serious. It's like that cold anger that he's prepped and ready. He's ready to go get Izumo back, and he's not gonna let them stop him. So big battle coming up. I really can't wait to see like what's gonna go on between the characters, as well as like seeing some of these that have just been in the background for a while. I definitely want to see, like I said, that one dude who's got the visor. He looks really cool. He's probably the one that I want to see the most out of the enemy faction, out of Under. I am hoping the bunny kid doesn't get hurt. I like that dude. He's funny. But yeah, hopefully nobody hurts him. Maybe it'll be like Phil or Top that'll kind of mess with him. You could have like two kids fight, and theirs won't be as serious. But anyway, other than that though, I'd really appreciate if you comment below, thumbs up the video, befriend the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. And I thank everyone who's already subscribed, and thank you all for listening. Bye.